Hello guys and welcome in the 7th episode. In the last episode we have implemented our game mechanism. So today we will implement the pick menu, so we'll be able to load different flags from different continents, not only from the Europe. Okay, let's get started. So first thing, open our project and go to the scene folder. We need to add new scene, so right click, create scene. I will name this scene pick menu. Okay, let's open this scene. So currently this scene is have a black background. So first thing, let's change the camera, the background to be matching the rest of the scene. So I'm gonna go back to the main menu, click on the main camera. In the background, I will just copy this hexadecimal value, and then go to the back to the pick menu scene, main camera, background. And I will just paste this value in, so I will have the same color as in the rest of the scene. Okay, so that's done. Let's save the scene first. The first thing we will do in the scene, we need to add the canvas. So right click in our hierarchy and then UI and select canvas. Okay, and then right click on the canvas, UI, and I will add the bottom. Okay, so we have our bottom. I will call this bottom, maybe bottom Europe. Okay, so we have our standard bottom, which is displayed here on the screen. So now let's apply the bottom the Europe graphic on it. So in our pick menu graphics, I will just find the Europe and drag and drop into the image sprite on the source image. Okay, so we have our bottom in, and then I will set the size. So the size, the width will be 160 and the height will be 80. Okay, and then I will change the scale. So scale on the X will be 1.9. Okay, this bottom seems to be small. This is because our camera have a wrong values in. So just click on the camera, main camera, and change the size of the camera to be 2.5. And then click on the canvas and make sure you have selected screen space camera, not the overlay. Okay, and then we need to add our main camera to it. So I will just grab the main camera, drag and drop it here. And then I will save the plane distance to be 10. Okay, then in the canvas color, I will change this from the constant pixel to scale with screen size. Okay, and my target resolution will be 800 by 600. And then I will change this value from here to be 1. Okay, so we have our bottom in the right size now. So as you see, there is a text on the displayed on the bottom, so we don't need any text on this bottom. So I will just go to the bottom Europe and then delete this text component. Okay, so we have a clear bottom. Let's just position it right. So I will just grab this Y position and move it up. Okay, like that. Okay, let's create another bottom. So I will just copy this bottom, Ctrl C and then Ctrl V, and I will rename this bottom to be Asia. Then I will just press the Ctrl D to duplicate the element, and I will name another bottom to be Africa. Okay, the next bottom will be North America. Then I will have South America. I will need also bottom the Oceania, so it's gonna be Oceania. So that's this is I think last bottom. So we have 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6. Okay, we have all of the bottoms. So let's position them and apply the right graphics. So I will click on the bottom Asia, and then I will change the graphic to be Asia. Okay, and I will position it down, right, like that. So the next one will be Africa. So I will just grab the Africa texture and then drag and drop, and then I will move it down, and then I will get the North America, move it down, South America, South America is here. Okay, so let's get this one down, and then Oceania will be this one, and then move it down. As you see, these spaces are not really equal. Okay, I think we need to move them a little bit up. So I will just move them one by one. Okay. Okay, I think that looks good. If you wanna, you can make them better, like make them like an equal gap between them, but it's up to you. Okay, let's implement the behavior now. So we have our scene. Let's first save the scene first. I will add the highlight color for every single button. So I just highlight all of those buttons by pressing on the first one, holding shift, and on the last one. So we can change all of these variable, because they are the same for all of those buttons at once. I will just set the color, the highlight color for all of them. So the highlight color, under the button script, I will click on the highlight color, and I will just paste the value here. You can use the same value, so it's going to be like a lighter blue, or you can set even different color, whatever you like. So I will set this color, and then on selected color I will set the same color here. Okay, right? So now when we press play on this scene, you see the highlight color is changing. Okay, and the buttons are pressable, but there is no behavior yet. So let's add the behavior so we will be able to start the game. So first thing, we need to create another script. So go to the scripts folder, and I will create new folder. I will call it pick menu. Okay, and then inside this folder I will create a script, or maybe actually outside of this folder I will create a script, and I will call it game settings. Okay, and then let's open the script. So first thing, inside the game settings, we actually want to know which button is pressed. So I will create the enum variable, like enumerator for every single continent. So public enum continent type. So the E is just highlighting me that this is the enumerator, and the first one will be E underscore not set will be equal to 0. Then the next one will be E underscore Europe, E underscore Asia, E underscore Africa, E underscore North America, South America, and then E underscore Oceania. We need to have a semicolon here. Right, so we have the enum to indicate which continent we have selected. So now, based on this enum, we need to actually create the private variable with this enum. So right below, I will call private. We just copy this enum type, and then I will call it continent. Okay, I will also create another variable which will be private string. continent name. We don't want to destroy the instance of this class when we're switching the scene, so I will just add another function which will be void awake, and then if, okay, first of all we need to actually create the instance. So right above this function I will create an instance variable, so public static game settings instance. Okay, so if instance is equal to null, then we want to do not destroy on load this. Okay, so if this class has not been created yet, so we don't want to destroy this class on load, and then we want to assign the instance to be equal to this. Okay, so the instance will be pointing to this instance of the class. Otherwise, we want to destroy this. So if another class has been created, it's going to be automatically destroyed. Okay, so this is like making sure we have only one instance of this class, so these variables will be always set. So right on the start, we want to initialize these two variables with something. So first of all, the continent variable will be equal to eContinent class continent type dot, and I will set it to not set. And then below I will add another variable, another function, which will be private void set scene name and type. Okay, so this function will set our scene name and our type. So I will create, but before we implement this function, we need to actually add to another variable. So right at the top of the class, I will create private variable, private dictionary. Okay, so we're gonna have a e continent type and then string. So that's gonna be our type and our strings. So that's gonna be the scene name. I will call it scene name. Be equal to new dictionary. Okay, so we can use our scene name now to populate with the data. So inside our set scene name and type, I will call this scene name dot add, and then the first parameter is the continent type, so e continent type dot Europe, comma, and for now I will call this game. Okay, so this is going to be the scene name. So every time we click on the button, we will load this scene with the name which we specified here. Actually, in our implementation, we're always going to call the game name the game scene, but in the future, if you want to, let's say, for the Europe add different scene, because you want to have something special for the Europe, you just need to change this name to your desired scene, and that's it. So I hope this is going to be helpful for you. So I will just duplicate this this line a few times, and then we want to do the same for the Asia, for the Africa, for North America, for South America, and for the Oceania. Okay. Okay, and we want to call this function from our start method. Okay, so right at the beginning, we're going to populate this dictionary with the data, so we can use it later. Right at the bottom, I will create another two getters function and the setters. So first of all, we don't need this this update function anymore, and I will add another function which will be public public void set continent type, and then this function will take the e continent type and it will just set this continent with this type. Okay, and the next function will be the getter, so that's gonna be public e continent type get continent type, and it will return just continent. Return continent. Okay, so we need to do the same for our name. So public void set continent name, and I will just pass string. Continent name will be equal to name, and then from this function I will do the set continent type. Set continent type, and the type will be selected based on the based on the name which we passed actually to this function. So before completing this function, let's right below, let's create another function which will be private e continent type, and then I will call it get continent type from string, and we pass string type. So inside this function I will do the switch statement. We will switch on this type. Okay, so the first one will be case. Europe. We return eContinent type dot Europe. Okay, and then we need to do the same for all of the continents. So this is gonna be for the Asia. This is gonna be for Africa. This is gonna be for North America, South America, and Oceania. So we need to change this name now. So that's gonna be Asia, Africa, North America, South America, and then Oceania. Okay, so if we pass any of the string, we will return the proper type. But in case we pass the wrong string, we wanna do the default return dot not set, continent type not set. Okay, so we will know we passed the wrong string. Okay, so now we want to grab this function from here, and then in the function above, in the function set continent name, we want to pass this function to that function. So we're going to take the correct name, the correct continent type for the name. Okay, so I think that's it for this class. Let's save everything. Okay, let's switch back to the Unity. And then inside our script folder, inside our pick menu, I will create another script. So right click C# script, and I will call it continent bottom. Continent bottom. Okay, let's open the script. So inside this continent bottom, I will add this. I will add the one public variable, public string name. We don't need this update function, we don't need the start function as well. So we will just call function onClick, so public void onClick, and then what we want to do, we want to call the game settings dot instance. This is the static class, so we will have it available. So I will call the set continent name, and I will pass the name, this name here. Okay, so that's it. Let's save everything and then switch back to the Unity. So now what we want to do, we want to select the bottom Europe. Actually want to select all of the bottoms at once, and you want to drag and drop this continent's bottom script into here. Okay, so let's make sure all of the bottoms have the continent scripts. If not, you can do it one by one by clicking on the bottom and then drag and drop it, but I will do it this way. Okay, so let's go through the bottoms and just copy and paste the right name. So make sure your names are matching with these names. Okay, so for the Europe, I will just pass this name from our script. The letters need to be capital as well, because if you make any mistake, the continent won't be loaded, because as you see in our function, if the name will not match, then we will return not set. Okay, so make sure you just copy this names, or just type it, whatever you like. I think it's safer to copy. Right, Africa. It's for the Africa. Game settings. North America. For North America. South America. South America, okay, and then Oceania, gonna go under the Oceania. Okay, so all of the bottoms, make sure all of the bottoms have a name, right? Okay, so click on the Euro bottom, and then inside our bottom script you have the onClick. So we need to add function call from here. So press this small button, and then you have this object here. So what I will do, once I selected this bottom Europe, I will grab the same bottom, so bottom Europe, and I will move it into this box. Okay, so we're just grabbing the same bottom, and then we can call this function from here. So from the function, I will just click on this function, then select the bottom, and I will call it onClick. If we have it available. So seems like the onClick is not visible here. Okay, let's go back to our script. So pick menu, continent bottom. Okay, this is because right at the class is not visible inside the editor. So right above the class, I will open square brackets and add system dot. Okay, let's save it. Make sure you save everything, and now go back to the editor. Okay, click on the Euro bottom again. So we have our bottom assigned. So if you don't just drag and drop this Euro bottom again inside this window, then from the function I will select the continent bottom script. So continent bottom, and then I will see you will now see the onClick function. Okay, so this function which we implemented there. Okay, so whenever we click on this Euro bottom, we're gonna execute the function onClick from this one with this parameter, so Europe. Okay, so now let's do the same for the rest of the bottoms. So for the Asia, I will click the small plus, I will drag and drop the Asia, and then from the function continent bottom, on click, Africa, is again, bottom on continent bottom, on click, North America. If you do something wrong, the continent won't load, so you will have to just double check everything is correct assigned and the name is correct. Okay, so just one more bottom left. Okay, so we have all of our bottoms assigned. Let's save this scene. So now we want to add this scene to our build scene. So inside the editor, click on the file, build settings, and scenes in the build. Make sure you just add open scenes. Okay, so we have our pick menu. So now we can use this scene. So go back now to the our inside our scene folder. Go back to the main menu, and we want to actually get display button. To instead of loading the game scene, we want to load the pick menu. Okay, pick menu. So let's test if it's working. So let's press play. Right, it's working, and when we press on any of this button, it's not working yet. Right, so go back to the pick menu, save everything. Okay, so just for now, because we didn't implement yet the pop-up screen, so in the normal game, in the final product, we will have, like, whenever we press on any of the continent, you will have a pop-up window with three different game modes, so we can select different game modes for the selected continent, but we don't have that one yet. So at the time being, we will just load the game scene. So select all of this. Maybe first of all, select the main camera, and inside our scripts, find the menu button and drag and drop this script in. Okay, so now select all of these buttons, and then inside our on-click event, press this small button here, then grab main camera, drag and drop it inside this small window, and then from the main camera, select the menu button, and then load scene, and we want to load the game scene. Okay, so this is this scene. Okay, so this scene, game scene, right? So make sure all of the buttons have everything assigned. Let's save everything. Right, go back to the main menu, press play, and see if the game is actually loading. It's not loading, so we have the pick menu continent. Okay, this error is because we don't have the game scene. Inside our pick menu, we didn't initialize the game settings. So right click inside the pick menu, right click, create empty, and I will call this object game settings, and I will drag and drop the script, the game settings script, onto that object. So we will initialize the instance of this class, of the game settings class. Okay, so let's go back to the main menu now. Save, play. Okay, we're loading the game, which is fine, but the problem is we still have only Europe flags. So let's fix this one now. So just make sure to remind you, just make sure you're creating this game settings and you drag and drop the game settings script in. Okay, so let's go to the scripts, and then let's go to the game data script. So if you remember from the previous episode, we have created the function assign array of countries, and we have set the country data set with the European country. Okay, so now we want to fix this, and we want to set the current data set with the selected continent data. Okay, so let's do that. I will put the switch, and then game settings, dot instance dot get continent type, right? And then we want to do the case game settings dot e continent type dot Europe colon. So for the Europe we want to keep exactly as it was, and then we want to put break. Okay, I will just duplicate this bit again, and I will do the same for the Asia. For the Asia, we want to have this, not the European data set, we want to have an Asia data set. Okay, and then we need to do the same for every single continent. So I just duplicate this one again. It's gonna be Africa. And then I will copy this name Africa. So it's gonna be length of the Africa flag. And we wanna set the Africa. Okay, so again, just duplicate it. And then gonna be North America. So North America. Okay. It's gonna be South America. South America. And last one is the Oceania. So that's gonna be Oceania. Okay, I will copy this one, the Oceania. Okay, just double check if you have all of the countries. So for the Europe you have the European country data set, and for the rest of the countries you have the appropriate array assigned. Okay, so let's save everything. Go back to the editor, and now we need to go to the scene game scene, and inside our game scene we need to actually initialize the script. So I will just add the game setting script to our main camera. So click on the main camera and then select the scripts, and make sure you just drag and drop this game settings onto the main camera, because this script needs to be present in any of the objects to be able to use it. Otherwise we have an error. Okay, so let's save this scene, and now go back to the main menu, press play, and see if we have different countries. So play, I will select the Europe first, Denmark, so I think this is the Europe. Okay, Moldova, that's fine, let's stop it. Select, just go back and select the Asia, Palestine, okay, Kyrgyzstan. I think this is Asia. I even guess one. Okay, so let's select another one, which gonna be Africa. Okay, try another one, North America. Looks okay. South America, Brazil, that's fine. Okay, and then one more, which is the Oceania. Yeah, all of the flags seems to be loading correctly, and we have a correct continents. So before we go, I will do just one more fix. Go back to the scripts. Inside our game settings, I have passed the in the set scene name and type, I have passed the game instead of the game scene. So I will just fix this one quickly, because we will use this array later. So I have the proper game, proper scene name in it. Okay, so make sure your game scene, or whatever you call, matching with the actually scene which you loading the game. So in my case, is a game scene. If you have different name, just put that name in that array. I'm not sure if I saved that script, so just save everything, go back to the Unity, and then everything is working. So yeah, I think that's it. So we have a fully working game now. So in the next episode, we will start adding different game modes. So whenever we have this menu here, once you press on any of the continent, the pop-up window will pops, and then you will have a different game modes. So we'll be able to select the different game modes, and based on that, we will just put different component inside our game scene. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again next time.